Hi, this is Michelle with Creation is Cool, and I wanted to tell you a little bit today about the honeymoon trip that my husband and I took to Maui, Hawaii. We recently got married in August of 2021, and we decided that we wanted to visit Maui and spend our time there for our honeymoon. It was an awesome time, and one of the most awesome experiences that we had was going on a helicopter ride. Now, if you know anything about Maui, it's actually made up of two dormant volcanoes. There's an east volcano that makes up the east side of Maui and a west volcano that makes up the west side of Maui. And we took a helicopter tour of the west side all around. It was beautiful. Maui has a lot of different climate areas, and the places that we got to see that really stood out to me in particular was this area that was really, really wet. It receives a lot of precipitation every year. It's known as one of the most wet places on Earth, and is in fact, it receives around 400 inches of rain a year. It's crazy, but it creates these lush mountainsides. We were on the helicopter, and we would go on these, as we were going up in this mountain, we would go up, and then as soon as we passed the top of the mountain, you would see this sheer drop, and it would just drop right into the valley, steep drop. And Raymond and I were like, oh, this is kind of scary, but it's so amazing. And as we were on this ride, we also saw some wonderful waterfalls, and they were in really, really remote areas, accessible mostly by a helicopter. One particular area that we saw was a place called the Wall of Tears, where around 17 waterfalls go down the side of a very steep cliffside. And it was magnificent, so stunning. As we were looking at all these wonderful, marvelous things, we were talking to our pilot. We just happened to have the opportunity to go on a private tour. We were talking to our pilot, and he was saying how amazing it is that the water has sculpted the mountainsides into what it is today. And as Raymond and I were talking about it and thinking about it, we know that the ultimate sculptor of this magnificent landscape is God. And it's not just random. It's not just a random line here and line there that creates this landscape, but God, who is creative and who is the source of beauty, did it for his own glory, created such landscapes as the Wall of Tears and even these steep mountainsides that we were seeing. It was really amazing, and it reminded us of Psalm 95 verses 2-6, and I'll read that for you. It says, "Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving. Let us shout joyfully to him with psalms. For the Lord is a great God and a great King above all gods, in whose hand are the depths of the earth. The peaks of the mountains are his also. The sea is his, for it was he who made it, and his hands formed the dry land. Come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker." It was wonderful to think, in lieu of seeing these wonderful landscapes, that it should bring Raymond and I in awe to bow before God who created these things. And even though the native Hawaiians had their own legends and stories about how the Wall of Tears came to be, for them, as what we heard from our pilot, was that their story is that there were gods who stuck their finger into the sides of the mountain to create water flowing down and tears on the mountainside. For Raymond and I, that reminds us of how in verse 3 here, it says that the Lord is a great God, a great King above all gods. And we know that ultimately God is the one who created these things. And just as seeing these beautiful landscapes brought us to awe and to worship our God for his creativity, I hope that this video and some of the clips that we got to show you here is encouraging to you, to remind you of how creative our God is and how powerful he is as well to design these landscapes. And I hope that it brings you to worship our Creator, because creation is cool, but our Creator is even cooler. See you next time.